And we're back. Another episode of Three Count. This time we're going to go over the first episode of AEW Dynamite and NXT that also happened to appear on the same night. Benny, you got the results for NXT?
But they're not competition. Remember that.
Yeah, not competition.
Give me about 2 seconds. I'm working on this right now.
Yeah,
we can actually start off with AEW.
Yeah, that's fine. I like the intro. I like the show and the atmosphere. The stage. The stage is not bad. I like it. The video, like the first match with Cody and Guevara. The video angles, they were really good.
Mm-hmm.
I was very impressed. And apparently, what I didn't realize, I found this out late, was that's the TNA crew.
What, you mean the production crew?
Yeah. Did you know that?
Interesting. No, I didn't.
Because apparently the TNA crew, I can't remember the name of the company. TNA didn't. I forgot what happened. They didn't renew a contract. So AEW like, hey, work for us.
I'd do it. Like,
I mean, I don't blame them. You're going from like what channel are they on, like Pop or something like that, or whatever it is, to TNT. Like, hello, TNT. I would have done the same thing. I'm sorry.
Absolutely, especially considering the fact that you're going to be working with. It's crazy to think that you can actually say it like this, but you're going to be working with a more reputable company. AEW is still in its infancy, and it's still more reputable than TNA is.
It is. TNA is going to die out soon. I feel bad for them, but they are. That's their own fault. They try to match WWE instead of building their own product, which is what AEW is doing, and they've been very, very vocal about it. Like, we're not trying to compete with them. We're trying to do our own thing. They want to compete with us. That's on them, which is what's happening. And they're also saying we're not going to fire shots, but we won't let shots be fired either.
Right.
So, yeah. So the first match, Cody versus Sammy, was nice. I liked it. I liked a couple of the movesets that both guys made.
Mm-hmm.
I like Cody doing the whole Dustin move where he throws himself back and smacks Sammy upward like this.
Yeah.
I like that one. It was a good match. The whole and I like the way that they're actually doing kayfabe. It reminds me of Japan. I think they were all in Japan. I think they're bringing like that kind of mentality to the States, and I like that because then Jericho came out, jumped on Cody, which then leads to something later on, and so that was that. So I like that one. I like. Did you watch that match?
No, but what I had going on at the time was I was at work while this was going on, so I was actually listening to several live streams.
Okay.
What happened at the time? It was actually kind of funny. Is most of the actual wrestling podcasts and things that I listen to are they're based out of the UK.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting up here and they don't have the TNT feed. They actually are going off of I think it was a Fightful. I think is the one that they have.
Yes, or
and
something like that.
Yeah. They're going off of Fightful, and Fightful, they didn't take a commercial while that first commercial was going on. So all of the time where Chris Jericho came out and initially took Cody down, then next thing you got all this commercial and everything that's going on. Then it comes back and this beat down is still going on. The beat down was going on the stream, but there was just no commentary. You heard no JR, you heard no no Shivani, and I honestly can't remember the other guy's name.
Excalibur.
Yeah, there was no Excalibur. There was nothing. It was just silence, and Cody just getting killed for like 10 minutes. It was something special, though. It was absolutely something special.
Yeah. So that was that match. I thought it was a good match to start the show. It was if you were trying to watch that and you missed that one, you missed a heck of an opening match. It was a really good match. Then after that was my man MJF against Brandon Cutler. It was a good match to start him off with, kind of get you introduced to the guys. MJF won by submission. I'm not sure if Brandon Cutler actually hurt himself because he went to the top rope and he slipped on the turnbuckle and he landed.
They were pointing out that it was kayfabe, but that was supposed to play into the finish. They just didn't go the route that they were going to go. I think they called an audible in the middle of it because MJF had been working the arm and he ended up putting him out with the Rings of Saturn. Right. Whereas he hurts his knee. That was supposed to lead towards some type of a leg submission, but like I said, they called an audible. Maybe they was just like, all right, screw it, we're not going to do it like this. But I am going to make a point real quick. I cannot call WWE out on this and not call AEW out on it. Where the hell was MJF in the middle of Cody getting killed by Chris Jericho?
Here's the thing. All right, well, let me go back to the whole thing. So he had been working on the shoulder the whole match. So the whole thing with the leg kind of threw me off. But to answer your question, MJF is a heel, so you really can't go after him like that because Cody's a face, but it's like he's a heel, but he like admires Cody. It's a weird relationship, It's like
that is so strange.
It is. It's like it's weird. It's like a weird relationship because MJF's a heel. You can't call him a face. That man's nowhere near close to face. He's like the Miz, but make him up like 10 levels. That's how obnoxious he is. He's in a good way. He has like some real heat. So you can't have him going out there to protect Cody at the end because then it's like, all right, you're going to have a heel protect a face against a new faction of heels. That doesn't make sense. It's like I get where you're going, but it's just the way I look at it. Like I see it, but I understand why it didn't happen.
It's just a weird dynamic because you have this heel and face being actual friends and things like that. It's weird. Yeah, it's gonna take some getting used to. Like, granted, we're used to WWE TV and everything like that, so we're looking at AEW now, and the AEW is trying to set a new standard. So
and then take some too. It's gonna take some time. They had some promos. Jay Silent Bob, Lucha Brothers, SoCal again to a little brawl. The next match was Pac versus Hangman Page, which Pac won by submission, which wasn't a match either. Another good match. Another one that this was supposed to go on one of the pay-per-views. I think All Out.
This was Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing?
This was supposed to be on Double or Nothing.
Yeah, but Pac pulled out because I think he was scheduled to lose that match, but because he was champion.
He was at the time he was a Dragon's Gate World Champion, and he was just like, it doesn't look good for me to take an L.
Right.
So he pulled out. Well, I understand it.
Yeah. So he won by that match. It was a good match. I mean, it was a very good match. It was the same match like they put off in the UK. So it's a good match. These two work well together. I would have to see another one of these later down the road as well. The next one was the women's title match, which was strange because you have Nyla Rose, who, in case you don't know, she's a transgender, was a man, now is a woman, but is a big woman, fighting against Riho, who's petite, and Riho pulled off the win.
Yeah.
This
sparked a lot of debate in the chat that we're not going to get into, but
and for me, nothing to do with the transgender, but looking at in general. So you just had like a monster heel in Nyla Rose that you could have had carry the belt, kind of go through the division a little bit while building her, and she takes a loss to Rio. Like the match was good. I'm not saying the match wasn't good at all. I questioned the result and how they did that. Like she took all this punishment, and then I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's kind of hard to believe. I personally like the fact that they went the way that they did, for two reasons. One, because fuck you, Vince, and your anti-Asian agenda. And two, I said before when Nyla Rose actually won the right to get into this match, I was really, really hoping that they were going to build towards her becoming the first transgender champion rather than just chucking her in there and being like, okay, you're going to be the one that actually wins the title, right off of the bat. I didn't want them to do that. This is something that AEW has decided that they want to actually press, that they are a progressive company. Everything from being inclusive when it comes to, gender equality, um, people making their choices and everything like that. And on top of the fact, and even to people with disabilities. Whereas I forgot exactly how it is that they're going to be doing, how it is they're going to be
Sensory.
implementing it, but it has something to do with the sound.
The sensory.
Um,
That
yeah, the sensory for the in the arena and everything like that. This is stuff that they're like really forward thinking and like again, I hate using the word just progressive because it seems so it seems so not I don't want to say catchphrase.
cliche.
Uh yeah, cliche and I forgot what the phrase was. It was some type of phrase or whatever. These keywords that you have to use. I don't like using that, right? But it basically puts over the point that AEW is really forward thinking. And like I said, what I would like them to do with Nyla Rose eventually is to turn her face and then later on down the line, not to the exact same, but build her and have her win that title on a Nia Jax type run, but have her take it off. So I don't want her to take it off of Rio because that would actually be a complete, rehash of Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. Like, okay, this woman should not have any trouble with this other one. But like I said, you look at it and you want to have her take it off of somebody like maybe, for argument's sake, maybe you bring back Awesome Kong. All right, you have Awesome Kong out there. Awesome Kong gets her AEW championship off of somebody, and then as you're building up Nyla Rose to become this new face or whatever, you have the two of them clash, and Nyla finally overcomes Awesome Kong because the two of them they did clash once before, and that was at Double or Nothing, and they took each other out.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, that would be a way that I would actually build that up. But I'm happy with the result because I want to see Nyla be built up towards. I want this to be an actual story going towards her winning the championship versus her just winning it as a novelty. Like I would honestly see it as when in this situation.
But you have to remember the records do count in
Yeah,
AEW. So I think this is her first loss.
yeah,
I have to look at the records, but I gotta go to the website. We have to go to the website and see if they have like a record count for everybody. It would be cool. I know in the show when they were coming in, they had record. They were showing their records, wins, loss, draws,
mm-hmm.
and they're all draws because the matches have time limit.
Yeah,
So I like that. I like they take all that into account. And then there was only 5 matches.
yeah.
And so now comes the main event, which is Chris Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz versus Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
Oh yeah, because now you can't use they can't use LAX because TNA property.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, the crowd called them LAX.
Yeah, they're gonna call them LAX regardless, just like they used to call the War Raiders War Machine.
Yeah. So this match was interesting because of the fact that I don't know. Was it a non DQ match? Are you aware of this?
No, it was absolutely not a no DQ match.
The reason why I asked is because the middle of the match, Moxley comes out and just levels Kenny Omega, takes him out, takes him back, puts him through like a glass table, done, out.
Mm-hmm.
Ends up being like a 3-on-2 match the rest of the night. I'm just like, and the ref is back there watching. I'm like, no DQ, no bell. I'm like,
this right here is something that I'm just going to chalk up to this being a new production and them not having thought that far ahead. Now I'm here they're saying they're forward thinking and they go completely contradict that. But this is something that I think they're going to actually learn as they go on. There was a perfect way you could have actually done that. Whereas the ref could have called a DQ and you could have had one of two things happen. You could have either had Cody come out to replace Kenny Omega, because at that point now you have Chris Jericho in the main event. Now Cody's out there like, okay, now you want to fight me? Let's go.
yeah.
You could have either had that, or you could have had the Young Bucks play the ultimate face role and be like, "Nah, man, we can do this. We don't. We're just gonna sit up here and we're gonna be the ones to finish this match because we're the Young Bucks and we're gonna super kick the living hell out of everybody, regardless of how many people are in front of us."
Super kick party.
Yep.
But
listen, they sat up there and they just let the match go on, and now everybody is confused. The crowd is confused. The announcers are confused. The fans that are watching are confused. Everybody's like, "That's a DQ. Why is this match still going on?"
Yeah. And then you have that, and you got LAX and Jericho beating the crap out of the Young Bucks. Mm-hmm. So obviously they win that match because there's no way they could overcome those odds. Yeah. They just made it impossible. And they just keep beating on them, and then Cody Rhodes comes in to try and save it. He takes over, but then Sammy Guevara comes in. He takes out Cody. Dustin comes in, cleans a little bit of house, and then he gets taken down by, lo and behold, Jake Hager, a.k.a. Jack Swagger, who cleans house.
Coming in there looking like he is fresh off of Cell Block 9.
Yep. So I like that.
Man looks he looks kind of scary like that.
Yeah, I like it though.
He actually looks kind of scary like that.
Here's the thing: WWE mishandled him completely. Because that man is good. If you let him do what he does, he's good.
Yeah.
Mike skills, which I like why he's in this faction because he doesn't need to talk. It's Jericho all the way. You got Jericho, you got LAX. They could talk. Sammy Guevara could talk. Jake Hager doesn't need to talk.
Yeah, he can just be the silent monster.
I like this faction already.
Yeah. I like the look of it. Yeah. You sit up here and you automatically, right from the start, you set up a heel stable. The heel stable already has the championship, and they've taken out the Elite.
Yep.
I mean, with the exception of Kenny Omega, he got taken out by Moxley, who has nothing to do with anybody. But it's a really nice look, and it's a really nice start to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say the one thing that I didn't really like was like that you had the inconsistency with the fact that like the end of it, this should have been a DQ, and they didn't address it at all. They kind of sort of just let it go. And Corey Graves actually took a shot at them on SmackDown, where in one of the matches or whatever, he was just like, "There's no DQ. He can do that." So I'm just like that's that right there. And the fact that aside from the formation of this new faction, there wasn't really any setup to lead into the next episode. So I'm like, all right, we're going to tune in regardless, just because of the fact that, it's AEW with something new and we want to see what you guys have to offer. But I probably would have liked it a little bit more had they actually given me a reason or something to look forward to leading into the next week. But again, that's neither here nor there. This is something that they're going to get as they, move forward.
Right. So AEW had a good showing on the first episode. They had some good views, from what I heard. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what they got. I'm excited to see what they continue to put out. As long as they stay with the mindset that they're not in the middle of a war with WWE and they just do their own thing, they're good.
They absolutely annihilated NXT in the ratings. But from what everybody was saying and everything like that, NXT actually had the better show. But again, that was because NXT decided to go put on a takeover in the middle of the week rather than, a regular NXT program.
Right. And they did. I think they did it on purpose. I didn't watch it. I focused on AEW. They did it on purpose because this is what we put on Cash next week. Try and take the views away because they're desperate. And this is bad because you're following the WCW platform on how they went bad.
Yep.
Was putting on pay-per-view matches for free on TV. And then when you're trying to put that match again on pay-per-view, everybody's like, we've seen that match.
We just started. Yeah.
This is now the actual 10th time in the last 2 months they're fighting. Why do I want to watch again? Why am I going to pay for this? Which WWE is actually on as well right now too, with so much talent, but yet using the same talent all the time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see any of the matches, but we'll pretty much go over it because you got the results. So, Adam Cole,
Yeah.
Matt Riddle, Adam Cole won, I guess, on that one.
Yeah, Adam Cole won. It was a clean win, and then right after that, Finn Balor came out and basically went and kind of sort of staked his claim to going after Adam Cole for the title. He did kind of sort of drop a hint saying that he might be forming a faction. And immediately people started jumping towards the OC because that was set up at SummerSlam. But I can't see AJ Styles at all going back to NXT.
No, he never went to NXT. He went
Yeah, he went straight to the main roster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry about me and my hand over the camera or whatever. I just got a notification that Alexa Bliss was going live, but but there was that. What we did not touch on, there was a change to the Cruiserweight Championship. It is now no longer known as the WWE Cruiserweight title. It is now the NXT Cruiserweight title.
No longer 205. It's now the NXT Cruiserweight.
Right. It is now known as the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. We had Velveteen Dream basically challenging Roderick Strong again. To which there was no acceptance or anything like that. It was just a matter of Velveteen Dream back on his new couch, cutting a promo with two nice looking ladies next to him. Yeah, Io Shirai beat Mia Yim. To which, from what I heard, that match was actually pretty good, and that I like, especially considering the fact that the only real experience that I have with Mia Yim is the match that she had with Shayna Baszler at the last Takeover, and that was not a good match.
No, she's had good matches before.
Yeah.
I think they're just not they just can't get in sync. I think their styles just don't match up correctly. And we spoke about that. That happens sometimes. You have wrestlers that sometimes their styles just don't mesh well.
Yeah.
And there's nothing against either one of them. Like, you can have two talented wrestlers, but their styles just don't match well.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing against them. It's just the way it is. And it shouldn't take away from them either as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm not surprised that you say that, but like again, I've seen her have some good matches though. Before. So Johnny Gargano and Shane Thorne. I'm guessing Gargano won on that one.
Yeah. Gargano won on that match. I don't. Like I said, that's one of the matches that I really didn't have any. I didn't see anything on. I just knew that that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
After that one, you had Shayna and Candice LeRae, to which you had the exact same thing that happens all the time in Shayna Baszler matches. She gets killed from the clutch on. Person sits up there and they fight, and ultimately they end up tapping out. Again, I don't dislike anybody, but at this point right now, I'm starting to think that Shayna is a little too strong.
Mm-hmm.
And she either somebody needs to actually go out there and give her. Not somebody. Rhea Ripley needs to go out there and throw Shayna Baszler from one end of the arena to the other, and basically show like, listen, you ain't the baddest woman in this ring no more. Or they just need to call Shayna up to the main roster and have her, on one of these, on one of the two shows or whatever, actually building herself up and fighting for one of those titles. Because as it is right now, you're basically stifling all of the women in NXT with this title run.
Yeah.
Because she's run through pretty much everybody. She's beat Kairi Sane. She beat Io Shirai multiple times, both of them. She beat Candice LeRae now. She's beat Bianca Belair. Now, like, where's she going from here? Like I said, aside from Rhea Ripley, and that just happened for 5 seconds, and then Rhea Ripley fell off of the face of the earth.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you got Damian Priest attack Pete Dunne. That should be a good match. Can't wait to see that match.
Yeah, Pete Dunne actually he got attacked after the match or whatever, but Pete Dunne actually did have a match with Danny Burch and he won that match. Um, and I'm gonna say thank you because that is my favorite NXT wrestler. Awesome, my man, bruiserweight, breaking fingers all day, every
Yep.
day. So he got attacked by he got attacked by Damian Priest or whatever after the match. So of course, that basically means they're going to be leading into. I don't know if they're going to have a takeover um around Survivor Series. I don't think they will. But back in the day, that was that was your takeover events. They would be paired up with your big four, your big five, or whatever. So it's I don't know. I don't know how they're actually planning on doing this. But the only other match that was left on the card after that was the tag team title match. That was Undisputed Era. They beat the Street Profits. All the Street Profits came out with one of the greatest entrances I've ever seen.
Right.
They actually had Wale with them, and I actually had to die laughing when Stephanie McMahon hashtag we want the smoke. I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, yo, I can't with her. It's like somebody's mom doing that mess at school. Like, but
But here's the other thing too is that so now Ciampa's back and he faced Cole.
yes.
So everybody's after Adam Cole now, apparently.
Oh, pretty much. You had like I said, you had Finn Balor come back. He basically, said it or not came out and said it, but he's basically insinuating he's going after the championship. And if you remember back, I think it was Takeover 25, the one that Gargano actually lost the title to Cole. I think that was Takeover 25, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Ciampa was on the pre-show, and he was just like, "There's only one person that I actually approve holding Goldie, and that's Gargano." So the second that he came back, I'm just like, "It's on. It is so on." And it was so perfect the way they actually had him come back too. Because Adam Cole was standing up there on the stage. He's gloating because Undisputed Era made it through with all of their titles intact and everything like that. The next thing you know, Ciampa's music hits. And all he does is just circle it. Doesn't say a word. And the entire time, his eyes are on the belt. I'm like, oh, yes. This is what we need. This is absolutely what we need. That was character work at its finest.
Mm-hmm.
Because he missing Goldie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I mean, NXT can pull off and compete with AEW.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that they're gonna have now is you're gonna have everybody looking to divided to watch those two shows.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's gonna really want to watch Raw or SmackDown anymore because NXT. We said NXT is better than the main roster. We've always said this.
It is.
We've said this from the jump. I think we've been saying it. And WWE did this on purpose, and we get it. But they run the risk of losing more of their actual viewers to NXT.
Now, what I'm worried about with NXT is, if I remember correctly, NXT did all their tapings for the entire month in one day. They would actually sit there, I believe it was for 4 or 5 hours, and they would just run through the entire month. And that's how you ended up with these spoilers and stuff that would show up every once in a while for title changes and things like that. So we got spoiled about Velveteen Dream winning the championship like 3 or 4 weeks before it actually happened.
Yeah, and also with Undisputed Era actually having all the gold too.
Yeah. That, and what was it? We found out about Undisputed Era when they beat Street Profits before it happened.
The reason why I'm a little celebrating because I called that. That was my whole thing. It was close. It was close to what I was calling for. They pulled it off a little earlier, but I think it was a little close to what I was calling for.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was a little surprised that they actually did it the way that they did, because the one that they ended up getting last was the North American Championship. Like that's like really anticlimactic because that's like granted the title is supposed to be a prestigious title or whatever, but it's still a mid card belt.
Mm-hmm.
If you're building towards like Undisputed Era being the ones that they take over, the ones that actually that we run this now, you would think that they would do it tag team titles, then the North American title, and then the NXT title. But it ended up being the NXT title, then the tag titles, and then the North American belt. And I was just like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah,
but
it is. It is. Yeah.
But I guess that's the way that they had to do it or whatever to be, I don't know, not predictable.
Yeah, and it's strange, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, it was a short show, but we were going over both of these as well, and it was just previews going on, and I think they said NXT was going to cut back on their takeover shows, didn't they?
Yes. NXT is cutting back on the takeover shows. I know for a fact that the Royal Rumble show is not happening. I believe the next show that we have is War Games. And speaking of which, it's a good thing that you actually said something about that because it just sparked up something else. Cody Rhodes is trying to get War Games from the WWE.
Oh, that was the one I saw. I saw a headline that he's trying to get a gimmick, a WCW gimmick from WWE, and
he's trying to get War Games because War Games was created by his father.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to get the the War Games and everything from them because in his point of view, the War Games match that they do in NXT is not true to the actual War Games that was in WCW that Dusty actually made. So what he's trying to do is he wants to negotiate with them to actually buy the rights to the War Games match and take it, to AEW. To which I doubt seriously that they're going to play ball with him.
Right.
But it really just depends on how much money or whatever is offered because between billionaires, money is all that freaking matters.
No, there's only one billionaire between those two because Vince is a millionaire. He lost money.
He's a millionaire. It's just real low.
He lost money.
He's in like the 1s to 2s. Like Tony Khan is up in like the 9s.
No, the WWE stock dropped, so it dropped 1 billion to like 900 million or 800 million. Like, yeah, I remember seeing it. I started laughing. Like he dropped. Like it was crazy. I forgot what happened.
It's funny though because of that. Like, remember they used to call Stephanie the $1 billion princess. Now they kind of sort of have to change it because it's not accurate anymore.
Yep. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to watch. It's gonna take some time for the ratings to settle down. NXT had WWE was smart. They put them on early so they could start getting the people to watch it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people switched to AEW though when it came on. A lot.
I'm gonna say the one thing what they didn't do correctly is they kind of sort of could have waited. Granted, you wanted to get them out there, but the other way you could have got them out there is actually do a little more promotion on Raw and SmackDown than what they did.
Yeah.
Because they were doing like really, really, really weak promo stuff for NXT.
Oh yeah.
And the reason why they put them on there and then you had these split shows with NXT is because they decided to start it 2 weeks early. Like you said, they wanted to try and get people used to watching it on USA, but they ended up neutering their own programming because of the fact that Suits was still on. And Suits had their final couple episodes that they were trying to run off. This is Suits' final season. They're not moving that.
No.
So they ended up with a programming issue and a timing issue and everything like that. So they ended up having to split the programming up. And it was a disaster, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It could have been worse, but at the same time, I honestly feel like they could have planned that a little bit better than what they did.
Yeah. So with that, we end the show. Till next time, which will
hopefully Hell in a Cell is actually a good pay-per-view tonight with their, I don't know,
8 matches
and impromptu matches. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. So everybody have a good night. We'll talk to you next time.
That'll be good.
I'm back.